most powerful fleet in the Japanese Navy is on the attack. Their massive guns primed to crush the Allied advance. The only force standing in the way of a devastating enemy victory is a handful of tiny U.S. ships and planes. It's a courageous group of American tin cans facing off against a giant Japanese armada led by the legendary Yamato, the largest battleship in history. Through state-of-the-art computer animation, experience heroic stories of the sailors and aviators who faced the enemy onslaught and ensured the death of the Japanese Navy. October 24, 1944. Fighters and bombers from aircraft carriers of the American Third Fleet are flying a vital mission. Search out and destroy the Japanese Center Force, the Imperial Navy's most powerful fleet. Center Force must be stopped. The massive armada threatens to pulverize Allied ground forces now assaulting the Philippines. 23-year-old Helldiver pilot Lieutenant Nick Fellner spots his prey. He can hardly believe his eyes.
Only when I came through the clouds did I see all of these Japanese ships racing in corkscrew patterns on the water below. So I picked out the largest ship I could find and homed in on that ship. It was the largest target I'd ever seen.
Fellner's target is, in fact, the largest, most heavily armed battleship ever put to sea, Japan's flagship Yamato. The 72,000-ton behemoth wields the most powerful naval guns in history. Her 18-inch main battery can hurl 3,000-pound shells over 25 miles.
The Yamato was launched with the intention of destroying any enemy battleship at a standoff range, which is to say the 18-inch guns of the Yamato were meant to destroy the U.S. fleet before the U.S. fleet could ever get off a shot.
Yamato, her sister ship Musashi, and the rest of the 27-ship Center Force steamed relentlessly toward the Allied ground forces. Fellner must act now.
We moved into an attack formation. It was principle for dive bombing to attack out of the sun. This gave us the best chance of coming in without the gunners on the deck being able to shoot up at us.
Yamato unleashes her 150 anti-aircraft guns. Fellner dives into the eye of the deadly storm. His Helldiver carries a single 1,000-pound armor-piercing bomb. Fellner must aim his plane directly at his target, dive in as close as possible, and fly rock steady in the face of lethal enemy fire. Plunging nearly 10,000 feet in a near-vertical, screaming power dive.
The important factor is to make sure that we're on target. Somewhere below 1,000 feet, I realized I had no more time, and I pressed the button on the bomb release.
At the last second, he yanks back on the stick, pulling out in a crushing 9G climb. He looks back at his target.
My hit had turned out to be an extremely lucky hit because it hit one of the few, very few unarmed sections of this battleship.
Fellner's bomb punches through the deck and detonates deep inside the ship.
When it exploded below the water level, it caused 2 huge holes to open in the hull of the ship. 3,000 metric tons of water flooded into the ship.
Yamato lists 5 degrees, but her hull is built with a honeycomb of 1,150 watertight compartments. Damage control teams quickly right the ship. But in the aerial assault, 3 of the other Japanese ships are severely damaged. And Yamato's sister ship, Musashi, is sent to the bottom of the Sibuyan Sea. Of the 259 aircraft in the assault, 18 are shot down. Center Force Commander Admiral Takeo Kurita orders his ships to turn around. What appears to be another victory for the American naval force is, in reality, just round 1 in one of the greatest sea battles in history. It's late in the war. Japan desperately needs to halt the Allies' unstoppable advance. General Douglas MacArthur has landed a 200,000-man invasion force on the Philippine island of Leyte. The invasion threatens to sever critical supply lines. It's a battle the Japanese can't afford to lose.
If the Japanese lose the Philippines, there are lines of supply between Japan and the Dutch East Indies will be severed. They will no longer be able to function as a wartime economy. So if Japan loses the Philippines, the war is over.
Japan has virtually no carrier-based aircraft left. Their last hope lies with their giant battleships. They devise a bold strategy called the Shogo, or Victory Plan. The objective? Crush MacArthur's invasion force with the battleship's big guns. Shogo divides the Japanese Navy into 3 forces. The center force, led by Admiral Kurita, will steam towards Leyte through the San Bernardino Strait. A southern force will steam north toward MacArthur's troops from the Surigao Strait.
The plan is to get these forces through these heavily guarded waterways and to approach Leyte as in a pincher movement from the north and from the south.
The key to the plan is deception. A northern force, comprised of what remains of the depleted carrier fleet, will act as a decoy, hopefully luring away American Admiral Bull Halsey's powerful Third Fleet, leaving the waterway to Leyte wide open for the center force. Now, in the aftermath of a successful air attack on the center force, Halsey takes the bait. He believes Kurita is retreating, so he moves north to pursue the Japanese carriers. Then, just 2 hours after turning away, Admiral Kurita orders the Yamato and his other remaining ships to reverse course and steam back towards Leyte. In the early morning of October 25th, they emerge off the coast of the Philippine island of Samar. At 6:35 a.m., they spot ship masts on the horizon.